What's good, y'all? We're back yet again. DBD Twitter, they just can't help themselves. If we're not complaining about stuff like calling Onryo Oreo somehow being racist even though she's Asian, it's about using the term blendette, which is racist, I guess. And if it's not about that, then it's about humping as a killer, which is somehow a form of sexual assault. We're going to go over some of the discussions that are had on Twitter about this topic, but before we do that, I think it's important to ask, why do killers do it? Why do they hump? Now, to me, it's really obvious. Killers hump because they can't teabag. The only Ghostface could rapidly crouch, so he's the only one that could really do it, but everyone else can't, so that's why they hump. It's just another form of BMing. And for those that don't know what BMing is, it's like bad manners. You know, it's like teabagging, it's like taunting, and stuff like that. Like just trying to do stuff to piss off the other person. I bet all the money in the world that if killers had an option to crouch rapidly like survivors do, humping wouldn't be a thing. It's just another form of BMing. That's all it is. That's all it ever will be. Anyone who says otherwise is... there's something wrong with you. Anyways, here's a conversation. I'm putting this out there now. If you take humping seriously and find it that weird, you need to touch grass. That's funny as fuck and it really ain't that deep. And this person says, overlooking the power dynamic in-game and implication of a sexual act isn't deep? Like, feel free to have your opinion, but there's a difference between teabagging in an FPS game and humping in DBD. Just gotta think about it critically for a moment. This fucking guy. Like, bro really thought he said something with that. Like, you're not critically thinking, you're overthinking. And here's another comment. Unless it's someone you know, it's bizarre to me too. That, and when you ask people why they find it funny, they can't explain or they state the weirdest shit. Like, bro, are you like fucking retarded? They do it because they know it pisses you off. The same reason why people teabag. There really isn't that much of an explanation. It's so simple. You teabag to piss people off, they hump to piss you off. And people find it funny because they want to piss you off. Alright, here's another one. So someone made a tweet showing the way Xenomorph can hump in DBD. And this is what someone had to say. I wish I could NSFW tag someone else's tweet on a quote tweet, but this is so wrong. Yes, it's just 2 keyboard buttons, but that represents a lot of pain and suffering to many people, and that is well known at this point. So why show it off that a killer can do it well? Again, with people just making things such a big deal, like you're making it seem like the cock is being, like they animated the cock, it's whipped out, they're spreading the cheeks and just like putting it, like, bro. It represents BMing. It's a form of bad manners. It's a form of teabagging. Like, what do you think this is, bro? Why do you have to compare it? I understand why you think that, but you also have to understand the fact that killers can't teabag. This is why they do this. It's a form of, it's an alternate teabag. It's not rape. Anyways, this person says, well, this is beyond completely gross. And this person replied, not really. Really goofy though. And OP responded saying, please explain what's goofy about essentially simulating humping, grinding against a body that cannot move. The message it sends is gross. And if you support this kind of thing, you're just as gross, and I never wish to know you further. Like, bro, what is with these fucking people that are so fucking virtuous? You're just like those rapists that go out and rape people. You are no different. I never want to get to know you. You are a disgusting... It's like, bro, it's not that fucking deep, bro. It never was, and it never will be. And that's like one of my biggest issues with Twitter is that people are just so virtuous. Like, they really act like they're holier than thou, and they would never, quote-unquote, stoop to such a low level. Bro, y'all are insufferable-ass people. Okay, it doesn't matter what level you stoop to. You are already at the fucking bottom of the barrel. These types of people don't want to see change. They want to complain about change. They want to infinitely complain about these things so they can seem like the kind of person that would do the right thing if they had the power to. These people don't give a fuck about any of this shit. It's all about looking good. That's all it is. That's all it ever will be. These people are fucking ass. They fucking suck. Anyways, here's another interesting one. Let me ask you a question. What about the people who get reminded of assault by it happening? Are we to forget that or just brush it off? So Nightlight says WS equals control, which is basically moving back and forth on the body equals teabagging as a survivor. And this guy said, yikes, I thought we would have a mature conversation about this. It seems you aren't ready for that. And Nightlight said, it's literally a form of BM in a video game. There's literally nothing mature about it in the first place. And this guy says, While that might be true, are we to shrug off people's experiences and what they might deem to be something that would remind them of sexual assault? That was my original question. So Nightlight actually engages with that and says, okay, what would you do about the fact that killers are able to perform such an action in the game? So this guy says, I personally don't have the solution to your question other than maybe asking others to not do it, which is what I think the movement was supposed to stand for. Nightlight responds, I believe that teabagging that survivors do as a form of BM is equal to so-called ground humping that killers do. So we should forbid teabagging as well? And this is the guy's response. Personally, I don't do either, so your question isn't really for me. It would be for the rest of the community. And that response really annoyed the fuck out of me, because right when you ask them, hey, what should we do about this? They'll just be like, oh well, for me, this question doesn't really refer to me. Me personally, I don't do it, so like I don't really have. It's like, so you said earlier you want to have a mature conversation about this, and then when there's a chance to actually have that discussion, you just say, oh well, me, I don't do that, so that question's not really for me. So what the fuck did you want to discuss? You just wanted to say that it was bad. That's it. That's all you want to do. You just want to complain. When you're given a chance to offer some sort of solution, y'all are silent. There is no solution. Y'all just want to infinitely complain about an infinite amount of things to make yourselves look better. That's it. And before I go, there was just one comment that I saw that was just, wow. Also, no one talks about it, but Nemesis are notorious for whipping characters of color. It needs to be talked about more. Why, yes, I do, in fact, try to whip as many colored folks in DBD as I possibly can. If I enter a lobby and it's full of white folks, I usually leave that lobby, or I just M1 everyone. But when I see them colored folks in DBD... In conclusion, life is short, alright? Have fun. Stop complaining. There are things worth complaining about. This is not one of them. If you want, you can follow me on Twitch at Adrian, spelled like my username. I'm also on Twitter at AdrianDBD. You can tag me in things that you see that are absolutely ridiculous, and I'll try to cover it. Until then, bye.